Hello, and welcome to another episode of Millennial Economics. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about 3 lessons I've learned in my 20s about money. So let's get right into it. All right, so the first lesson I've learned is that day jobs aren't bad. And this is something that is contrary, for some reason, I don't know, for what we hear on the internet these days. Right? Most of what we hear is about starting new businesses and investing or drop shipping or all of these things that you can do, which again aren't bad, but I think almost the 9-to-5 job in the past few years has been villainized, right? Dedicating your time in a day to going to an office or working for a company is for some reason become unglamorous, and I think that's completely wrong. What I experienced in my 20s is I got into corporate America fairly early, worked my way up, didn't go to college, and that has been a tremendous benefit to me for creative projects like Millennial Economics, for things that I want to accomplish, such as buying a house or traveling or even just having fun, having money to go eat out on the weekends, right, with the family, or, maybe some more personal finance centric things like investing. A day job has provided a huge opportunity for me to be able to accomplish those things. And I think that's one thing that young folks, especially these days, aren't taking enough into account, or aren't taking enough, putting enough value in, we'll say. So one thing I learned in my 20s is that 9-to-5 jobs aren't bad. Increasing your earning power in your 20s is so beneficial for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. And before we go any further in this video, if you like this channel, if you like this video, please like it on YouTube here, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. Also, just a quick pitch for Acorns. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or even an advanced investor that wants an easy way to invest, I personally use a platform called Acorns. Been using it for 5 years. I think it's a great option. If you use the referral link in the description, you will get $5 added to your account when you open it, absolutely free. All right, going into number 2. Being debt-free equals opportunity. If you can make it through your 20s debt-free, the amount of opportunity it opens up for you is absolutely tremendous. To give you some examples, there are going to be things that you want to pursue, maybe a career. If you are riddled with debt and have a lot outgoing every month that you have to pay, that is going to greatly dictate what job or career you can pursue. If you want to maybe work for a nonprofit, and maybe the average salary at that nonprofit for the job you really think you would be great at, that you really think that you would enjoy, isn't quite as much as the job that you might find soul-sucking, but you have all this debt hanging around and you have to pay all these debts off, that is going to greatly inhibit, or I guess greatly affect the decision that you make. Okay, so being debt-free equals opportunity. Maybe you find an investment that you think is going to be a great investment, and you have all this debt going out, and you have all that money obligated into these debts that you're paying off. You won't be able to invest in that opportunity. Maybe travel. There's so many things in your 20s that you will be able, and I had opportunities in front of me that if I had a bunch of debt, which I did early on in my 20s, if I had a bunch of debt, I wouldn't be able to do. So I actually learned this lesson the hard way. If you've listened to any part of my story, you know that my family and I had a ton of debt, and we got out of it, and now we're trekking in the right direction, and I learned about investing, but being debt-free equals opportunity. All right, number 3, knowledge is your best friend, okay? And this doesn't mean necessarily traditional education. It means learn about personal finance, learn about investing and compound interest and dollar cost averaging and what index funds and ETFs are. Learn about the psychology behind investing and good personal finance habits. These things that you are going to be building early on are going to pay literal dividends, no pun intended, are going to pay dividends for years and years to come. The earlier you can build the knowledge that you need for the good financial habits that you will implement in your 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s is only going to put you ahead of the game, instead of learning those lessons the hard way and then trying to invest and get ahead of the game in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. That doesn't mean that if you're older that you're too late and you can't start. But the benefit that you will gain by learning good principles early on is super beneficial. So what do? Well, I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I watch quality YouTube videos, and I watched that over and over again. Even if those principles were the same, I kept watching them and listening and reading and instilling these things in my brain. That was one of the greatest things that I did in my 20s. I made a ton of mistakes, in my 20s. But one of the greatest things that I did was knowledge. I increased my knowledge. And then lastly, just a bonus, invest early. And you're going to start learning how investments work and the benefits behind investing in your 20s when you kind of up your knowledge and you learn the good investing principles. But even just trying. I started off investing $5 a month with my Acorns account $5 every Friday in my Acorns account in my 20s. That didn't amount to much money, but what it taught me was putting something in to an investment regularly, dollar cost averaging, seeing these dividends that I was getting paid out quarterly, seeing the growth of these stocks that I was investing in over time, gave me a little taste of how investing works and how it can be so instrumental in wealth building. So I learned that principle in my 20s, and then as my knowledge increased, as my income increased, I just got more and more aggressive because I saw how exciting and what a great opportunity this investing is. So just to recap, the 3 lessons about money I've learned in my 20s. 9-to-5 jobs aren't bad. Invest in becoming a great employee for somebody. That can be very beneficial, not only because it can increase your income, but because it can, learning these principles early on can help you have a great career trajectory so that number 1, you can pursue a career that you enjoy. Number 2, you can increase your income quickly. Number 2, debt-free equals opportunity. When you don't have to pay anybody, it gives you the ability to invest in the things you want to pursue a career that you want to live where you want to spend your time how you want to. So stay debt-free in your 20s. Number 3, knowledge is your best friend. Learning good principles early in life will literally pay dividends later on in your life. And lastly, the bonus is invest early. Even if you fully don't understand it, I started investing $5 every Friday, the same as it would be to go get a latte. And I started to see how that money built. I started to see how those investments grew. I started to see how dividends worked when I got those payouts every quarter. So I hope you found this valuable. I've made a lot of mistakes in my 20s. Had to learn the hard way, and you probably will too. But I would just encourage you to take note of these 4 things really. And implement them, especially if you're in your 20s. So thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you very soon.